Hi, welcome to Family Law Friday, presented by Florida Women's Law Group. My name is Betsy Corbett, and I'm the marketing coordinator here. Family Law Friday is designed to be a resource for all women with a family law issue. Today, we're going to talk about common problems that you might find when married to a narcissist. Before we get started, I wanted to give you a little information about our host, Heather Quick. Heather is the founder and owner of Florida Women's Law Group that advocates for women in North Florida. The firm educates and empowers women on the law so that they can find the strength to endure the process and end up better financially and emotionally. She's been a licensed Florida attorney for the last 20 years, with most of her practice being in family law. Please join me in welcoming Heather Quick to Family Law Friday.
Thank you so much, Betsy. I appreciate that, and I appreciate all of you who are watching. This is a topic that I don't think we will ever run out of content on or ever run out of questions about. And it's something that I know has been around for a long time. I have had personal experience with this. I know one of my mother's husbands, classic narcissist, but I didn't know it at the time, what that meant. I really pretty much just felt like he was a jerk and wondered why she was so wrapped into it, and that's something I think for anybody who maybe sometimes you don't see it unless you're living in the house. Like, you've got to really live it and watch what's going on a lot of times to understand. But maybe if you are even an adult child and you're wondering, like, why is my mother putting up with this? Or a daughter of yours, and you see enough of it, and you're like, this person's such a jerk, but it comes in, there's so much psychological issues that come up with it. And, as we're learning, I've known throughout the practice, like, certain behaviors that I see and that I've identified, and then we are able to craft legal strategies, advise women because we know the tendencies of their husbands who are narcissists, if that makes sense. So that's how we weave it in. And then, of course, we've done research, and this is the research that we've done based on our client experience, the things that we've watched, the information in the literature that we've read, and interviewing with, psychologists and therapists who are in it on a day-to-day basis. So that's where I get all of this information that then I bring to you to share with you to help identify, cope, make decisions about your situation. So that's kind of where this all comes from. And I think what I've heard a lot from different individuals and women say, I didn't know, I didn't, you don't know what you don't know. And they didn't know. They're like, oh my God. But then as I listened to the material, I read up on it, or I went to therapy, I realized, oh my gosh, she's such a narcissist, and how that has shown itself and presented within our marriage. So to go on, what today that leads us into is some common problems, some issues that you're going to probably experience, if you haven't already, when married to a narcissist. Again, another way of approaching it, and this is something that maybe my hope is it's going to empower you, because it's going to provide you with some good information that you know and recognize in your relationship, but you didn't maybe tie it all together. Because that tends to be what our clients say, is like, they notice these little things, but until somebody really presents it all in one picture, you don't really realize or recognize that this is your situation. So, we've talked about the manipulation, and that is key. Masters of manipulation in all circumstances are what you will experience with a narcissist. Now, may take time to recognize you've been completely manipulated. And if you've ever been in that situation, and, as a parent myself, as a mother, I think children are masters of manipulation, and not really for evil. They're just the way they are. I mean, I think that's the way we all are as humans and as little ones. You know, they're very transparent, but it's more out of innocence, but not really. I mean, they want to get what they want, and then you recognize that for what it is, and generally they're cute and you love them. They're your children, but when it comes in this form, it's different, and you don't always see it right away. So one of the common problems that you're going to recognize you may experience are drastic mood swings. And I mean, from, everything's fine, and then one thing sets them off. And you had no idea. And it's just like, I mean, and I'm talking just rage. And now it's a huge problem and you had no idea. And that's kind of part of it, is you didn't know. Now, I mean, hey, we're all in a relationship. We know what angers somebody else, and you certainly know what buttons to push. And sometimes we do that intentionally for whatever, it just because we're mad and we want them to know we're mad, or whatever, you just want them, they made you mad, so you kind of just want to get them back. But either way, you're aware of the triggers, and this is something where you had no idea. It was not a problem yesterday, and all of a sudden now, and part of it, and this is where it's like the manipulation and the abuse, it comes out of nowhere. I mean, honestly, nowhere. And then everybody's like, okay, who knew this was such a big issue? And now everybody's got to go around and pacify him or tippy-toe around. You ever feel like, oh my God, we're like whispering, we're walking on eggshells because we don't understand why he went off the handle and yelled at us, and now everybody's afraid to do everything. And that's his control over you. And that, I remember that. I'm trying to think of an example, and it's hard, like not hard. I saw it, or I was, the way I experienced a lot of it was because I was a teenager and rebellious. And so I will not deny that I was probably a royal pain in the neck. However, there were some things like I knew when I was stepping over and not. And I remember that, I worked. Okay, so I had a job, a lot of kids have a job as a teenager, and it was my way to get out of the house. And it worked at like the Gap, at the mall, very basic. And I had to work, and there was a family event, my family, not my stepfather's family, and I was there, and then I was like, hey, I'm going to work. And then, and it wasn't that night, it was like the next day, and just like slamming the hands on the table and like stormed off. And everybody's like, who expected that? And it's just like that, like massive mood swings. And that kind of goes into, I think, to me, some of that gaslighting. You're like, am I crazy here? Like, that doesn't seem normal. And how am I that bad? But that's what it is. It's keeping you on edge with, trying to pacify and then make up for something that you really didn't even know that you did that was bad. And it probably wasn't. That's part of that control manipulation. And leading into that is emotional and verbal abuse. And, that I feel like there's a lot of, it gets used a lot. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing at all. I'm just saying, I don't know that we always understand fully. You know it when you feel it, but to describe it sometimes can be a little bit different. And I think, the verbal abuse is definitely personal digs and language, the tone, the volume, and that can be cursing or not, but it's just making you feel really worthless, and it really lowers your self-esteem and increases your dependence on them. And, from the emotional abuse, it comes hand in hand with that. And sometimes that is just, I think we talked about it in another video, just the silent treatment, just the complete disregard for you. And then, and that is abuse, just tearing you up with looks and quietness and punishing you again because you did something wrong. They're the victim, but yet they created the whole situation. Another thing that we have seen through, reports of clients and research is you'll see in a marriage with a narcissist extreme jealousy. Now, this is, and when I say extreme, I mean in extreme, I'm not talking about anything, like there's no basis whatsoever. I mean, this is like a coworker, maybe a neighbor. Maybe you're walking the dog and a neighbor 2 doors down is a man, and you're talking with the dog, and you could be talking about the yard, you could be talking about the dog, whatever, and you're going on your walk, and then you return, and it turns into just an unbelievable amount of accusations and threats on cheating. And again, then that ends up isolating you, because now you're like, now I can't even talk to anybody, and I've done nothing, and he just believes that I'm cheating. And it's not it doesn't go both ways, because he talks to all kind of women and coworkers, because remember, he's the charmer and he wants to be the life of the party, center of attention. And so he will most definitely be flirting with other women, like the waitress and all of those things. But Lord knows, if you were to exhibit that same type of behavior towards anyone else, you're going to have this extreme jealousy, and then probably the rage, emotional, verbal abuse. They all are intertwined. But sometimes it helps to deconstruct these different problems and issues so that you can really see it a little more clearly, and you're not thinking that it's you as much, which is really what I'm trying to do here, is help you understand this is not you. It's not a problem with you. This is a personality disorder that can really go quite a ways on the spectrum. Like, a lot of people have narcissistic tendencies, and they're maybe lower, and they just don't go to the extreme that we're talking about. And some are in the middle and go back and forth, and you're going to recognize a lot of these different things. And not everything is going to be extreme, but the things that are going to be the things that really tear you up and really make you question your sanity and whether this relationship is truly serving you and is, helping you become a better person, and or it is even a relationship. Because a lot of times in these situations, it's really a one-way street. You entered into a marriage and a relationship, but it's like, this is just all about him and his way or no way. Leading into the last topic I want to talk about within problems in being married to a narcissist is complete control. This is where they thrive, and it feeds their ego, and it feeds who they are to have complete control over you. And again, it can start out lovely, planning dinners, planning trips, planning who you're going to go places with, to then, oh, I bought you this outfit. Oh, now I am going to, don't wear that, wear this. Here's what I want you to wear. Here's how I want you to look. Why don't you do your hair this way? Why don't you drive this car? Let's live here. Everything is their decision in order to put you in a box. And one day you wake up, and a lot of it seems really nice, because remember, it comes across in the beginning, and it many times as flattery and, oh, he's taking such good care of me, until you wake up one day and you go, oh my God, I'm all alone. And I almost can't even make decisions for myself, because he's done all that and taken all that away, and let me handle the money here. I'm going to give you a credit card. You just do what you want. But then, he can stop it, or increase the limit, decrease the limit anytime he wants. And he can question your spending. Like, it's a control. And it doesn't happen all at once, because if it did and you were completely independent, and then he came in, somebody did this, you'd be like, hey, back off. Like, what are you doing? But it's slow and manipulative, and builds and builds and builds. And one day you wake up and think, what kind of life am I leading? Am I even in control of my own life? That's the purpose of these videos, of our office, to be here for women, to help you know, one, you're not crazy and you aren't imagining all of this. This is true disorders. There's so much literature and topics on this that can help you recognize and understand that, one, you're not alone. Two, there's help for you. There's help for him. I don't know how much it'll work. And that is always an option. Maybe he's going to get help and recognizes, and it will work on the relationship. And then the other option is call our office and find out what your options are, because that's why we're here. I built this firm for women just like you to be a resource and a sense of, strength for you, to help you through this, because we've been down this road with so many women so often that we know what you don't know, and we can prepare you for things that you just don't know are ahead of you. So I thank you so much for watching this today. And if you are in this situation or know someone who is, please share the video and then call our office, make an appointment, and begin the first step in your new life. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Heather. That was so informative. Thank you so much, Heather. That was so informative. We want to thank you to everyone else that was listening today. If you are in a relationship with a narcissist, or if you need any other help with a family law issue, please give us a call at 904-241-0012. Thank you, and enjoy your day.